Hello Scorpio, this is your August 16th, August 31st, 2016 read. For the main read, I'm going to be using the Shadowscape Tarot by Stephanie Pumunla. And for the advice cards, the Saints and Angels Oracle card deck by Doreen Virtue. Decks have already been pre-shuffled, so let's get right to it. Doing it a little differently this time around, just to see how it goes together. How this works out in the long run. I feel like we might have some better results. Got a lot of cards popping out for yours too. Interesting. Okay, so as we start into this, we got the King of Swords. And the way I read based on the deck, I go a lot with how the card is speaking to me with the imagery. Of course, the King of Swords is a master of communication. And when I look at this, though, I feel like it's more intellect and more thinking things out. I feel like, I have to be honest, I'm looking at this and I feel like somebody ticked you off. And I feel like there's a couple issues here that happened, and I feel like something's aggravating you. That's why I feel like we're starting with the August 16th time frame. That's where I'm starting right off. And as we go forward, I just want to say I'm seeing that you're feeling a little off about the situation, but I feel like you're doing better by keeping the situation calm. As we go forward, I'm going to the next card first. It's definitely in your realm about what's going to happen next. You're seeing this, and somebody ticked you off. Something didn't go right. I think it's more than one issue. I feel like it's a reoccurring issue, or this person did more than one thing that kind of pushed your buttons. And you're kind of deciding, like, you are a little miffed, and you want to tell them. You want to, like, cut them right to the bone about what they did. But I feel like there's a stronger part of you that's like, you know what? Let me just, hold that to the reserves, and just, I feel like you're more into the healing, and you're more into getting along at this point. You're very well aware that you could, start a shitstorm if you feel like it, if you prefer. But I don't feel like that's really what you want. I feel like more you're kind of like gonna file that away. I feel like whatever it was that happened both times, that's gonna stick with you. I don't feel like that's gonna be something you forget. But I also feel like for some reason, whether this person has a bigger effect on your life, or you're realizing, I'm not going to get rid of this person, or it's going to upset somebody else if you tell that person off that you do care about that doesn't deserve it, something along those lines, you've decided, you know what, it's fine, whatever, I'll just remember it and I'll keep going. And I'll just make sure that when I have to deal with this person again, I'll have my guard up, or I'll make, contingency plans to move around them, or make sure things do work out and not depend on them to help me. Or other people around you. I feel like you're looking at the situation from the outside. I don't feel like this person that's getting on your nerves is directly doing things to you. I feel like they're doing something to somebody you love. And I'm getting that stronger now. That's why you're kind of holding back, because you kind of feel like, well, that's not my relationship to say, but I'm kind of holding my tongue for that reason, because I feel like somebody you care about is being bothered, or is being not treated like they should be treated, and it's bothering you. And it's more than one instance, more than one situation. I feel like it's a reoccurring pattern, and you're quite aware of it. And you're holding back because you feel like it's going to make things worse if you say something. But I do know that the person that it's affecting, you care a lot for, and I feel like you kind of care for them. So the person or the friend, if it's a family friend, even if it's your partner and it's somebody that's bothering them, you're holding your tongue because you care about them, and you feel like it's more healing for them if you just support them and you don't go in there and just clean house yourself. This is the person around you that's ticking you off. And they're just like, there's a tornado, and like, I have to say, I do like crows, but in this instance, I feel like this person, what they're doing, they don't just do it to the person you care about. They're just a whirlwind of ridiculousness. There's always some type of craziness. They're always starting something. And it's very, I feel like, I don't know if you're aware of it. If you're not aware of it, I would watch this person a little closer when you have the chance, just to see, like, it's not directly with the person you care about. It's always, like, it's just how this person goes through life. They're a whirlwind of dysfunction. It's just, I feel like the word ridiculous comes into mind. Like, they cause problems, and there's just no real reason for it. There's nothing that's really wrong, and it's almost like they're bored, and they just cause problems. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why you're holding back, because either you don't want to inspire more ridiculousness, or you're kind of figuring it out. And part of you, even if you're not seeing it right now, in a deeper sense, you're like, wait a minute, I want to know a little bit more. And I feel like in some cases you may be holding back and not saying what you want to say, only because you're like, you know what? If I just stay quiet and observe a little more, maybe I'll figure a little bit more of this situation out, because something's off. And this person is a little bit out of sorts. Like, they're a little bit ridiculous. I get the word ridiculous constantly. Like, there's no reason for what they do. And I feel like you partly might know that, and you're just like, I want to figure out more of this. Like, you're trying to look for a reason. I'm getting about that person. This came up, and the way this came up, it came up kind of about that person for more insight. Like, I feel like they're bored and alone. And they're almost like, even if they're in a relationship and they're bothering a person, the person you care about is the person they're in that relationship with, the person who's doing the aggravating feels alone, or is very jealous of that person or their partner's connections with others, and that's why this is happening. Like, that's what's actually motivating them. Like, I feel like there's a lot of jealous energy, a lot of just like childlike brat ridiculousness, just, not fair. How come you're loved so much and I'm not, and that's not fair? Or just like, you're getting attention and I want the attention, so I'm just going to be a brat about it, and I'm going to take that attention. I don't care if it's positive or negative. That's what I'm feeling this person is. This is connecting with that person. So if you're watching this reading and it's connecting to you, this should make sense about this person. Look a little closer, see if that does make sense for you. As we go forward, oddly enough, that person seems to snap more into focus. I feel like you have a positive effect on them, because I feel they aggravated you. They definitely aggravated you, but it's not like they're oblivious to it. They're aware of what they did. And I feel like you take the high road. I really do. And they kind of like, they start towing the line, and they get a little better. I really don't feel like you tell your piece. I don't really feel like you tell them off. I feel like you hold back. And that helps the situation. I feel like this person is very well aware that you could rip their head off. I feel like they're getting the clue. Either because they've seen you do it to someone else, or the people around them kind of like are cluing them in. They're like, you might want to back off, because you're not going to get that far with this. Sooner or later, you're going to get your head snapped. So I feel like they get the clue and they turn themselves around. It's more of a bratty energy, and it doesn't last, thankfully, too long. I feel like you really do take the high road. Like, you hold back. I feel like it's like these cups flying around. It seems like aggravation. It feels like a lot of aggravation, like you're really aggravated by this person, but you do what you can to salvage what you can, and you kind of take it deep. I feel like that's you taking your emotions deep and just kind of like biting your tongue, because things are going better right now. You don't want to make things worse for the person that you do care about. So you kind of, you put it together, you keep it together. I'm getting a lot, like the overall feeling for this, like I have all these 3 cards upside down. Like, I really feel like you're aggravated, but you're not telling people that you're aggravated as much. Or at least you're not telling that person. This aggravation goes deeper. We got 3 cards here. The King of Cups, but it's reversed. We have the Ten of Pentacles, but that's reversed, which I find very interesting, because I feel like that's you holding your temper. And then The Nine of Wands, also reversed. Like all three of these came up reversed. And the Knight of Wands is movement. It's a lot of movement, sometimes quick in and out, sometimes. In this sense, I feel like because it's reversed, you're not acting. You're not moving forward. And it's having a good effect. With the the King, it is the King, yeah? Yeah. The King reversed, this makes me feel like this is deep emotion. Like, this isn't new. I don't feel like you're surprised that this person is doing what they're doing. I don't feel like it's a surprise really that much. You may have had that inkling when you first met them that you didn't like them, and then this is just kind of like egging that on farther. But you're not holding like that feeling over them. You just have that feeling. I don't know how to explain that. Like, it's something you're very well aware of and you're keeping an eye out for, but you're keeping check of yourself, and you're not putting that out there that you're that annoyed. I think even people close to you, even if you vented a little bit about this person, they don't realize how disgusted you are with this person, if that makes sense. And then the Ten of Pentacles, which is interesting, because when it's right side up, it's kind of holding back and letting someone else do the fighting for you. In this case, I feel like it's still holding back, it's just you're not letting anybody else do the fighting for you. I feel like it's just holding back, and just things are cracked, and you're just generally unhappy with how that situation is going. That's the overall energy. Let's get some advice cards. There's a couple more cards here to go, but okay. When this situation occurs, when I'm seeing the King of Swords, this comes up above the King of Swords, which means it's a social event that this person, I feel like either they got a little inebriated and were a little obnoxious, or you were out somewhere and they did something to embarrass the person you loved, or they did something, like, I feel like it was like you were out doing something and they just were inappropriate. I'm getting that. That's where that's coming. And that you're kind of like, it's interesting because these are typically advice cards, but I'm also getting that this is kind of explaining the situation. Like, it's out in a social setting that it happens, but it's also contingent with the reason why you kind of hold back when it happens is because you keep yourself busy. You may even be too busy at the moment to actually address it, and it might be what keeps you from snapping that person's head right then. Which is good. Keep moving. Keep going. You're a very active person. It's good. That's great. I also feel the reason like you're holding back is because you got that mother energy, which is very much, to me anyway, a Scorpio thing. They tend to look out for others. They tend to care for those they love. And this is why this person kind of gets a little leeway. Not because you want to care for them, but the person they're connected with, you care for that person. And you don't want to make it harder for that person. And that's why you're having this motherly energy. You're looking out for them, but you're aware, and you're keeping that in your mind. I can see that, but you're still doing good. You're holding back because you feel it's necessary. I feel, okay, we're going a little farther here. Now, I showed you this where they're kind of like calming down. It's a pause. Like this is popping up with the Eight of Pentacles right next to it, and this is what the Eight of Pentacles looks like in this deck, which is a spider with a web, and there's a lot of little stars in the web. So, in this situation, I feel like there's a lot of other people giving this person reason, to calm down. I feel like that's another reason why you may be holding back, is because that person that you care about is hearing it from a lot of different sources, and which is another reason why you're not saying anything, because you're like, I love this person is my friend, my family member, whoever they may be, and you just like, you feel like they're getting it enough from like a few other sides, and like that's enough. Like, it doesn't need to be overkill. And that's kind of one of the reasons you're holding back and you're not getting involved, because you just, in your view, you feel like the person that you care about is kind of getting the brunt, when the person who actually did the ridiculousness is kind of just not caring, and you don't think that's fair, which is why you're holding back, because you're like, if I put on my 2 cents and rip him apart too, or her apart, whoever it may be, it's just going to hurt the person I care about more. It's not going to, that person's not going to care, and I'm not going to do that. I'm getting that very, very strongly, because I feel like it's just bratty ridiculousness, and you're definitely, like, as we go forward, this is going out of the 31st, you're juggling those emotions. This person that you're protecting, you care deeply for them. And I feel like it's a long-haul relationship. However they're connected, family, friend, whatever that may be, that's someone you definitely care about. And when you hold back, even though you're quite ticked off about whatever it is, you're holding back because you care about them. That is what's motivating you to do that. And I feel like it's a lot of strength on your side. I feel like it kind of rubs up a couple times, but I think you think about how it's affecting that person directly, but also I think you're seeing the outward effect of the other social people in that person's circle, and how they're giving their 2 cents, and it's just hurting the person you love. It's not bothering the person that deserves to be told where to go. It's not bothering them, and I think you're seeing that. It's like the person who did the wrong doesn't seem to care. The person who seems to be kind of the victim, in your opinion, is just getting crapped on by everybody else because they care about that person and they're connected with that person, but they're the one who takes it to heart what happened, and they feel the person you care about is the one that feels bad. The person that did the wrong is not the person that's feeling bad. Okay, that is your August 16th, 2016 to August 31st, 2016 read. If you'd like to leave a comment or question, go ahead and do that below. Or if you'd like a read from me, shoot me an email at jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you for watching.